What the heck? Why did it? Hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Because without you guys, well, this just doesn't work. Man, thank you guys for joining in and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. I can't thank you guys enough for all that you do to make this what it is. Man, it is Monday. And guys, I know it's the off season, and we of course are knee deep in the off season, but it's really not an off season. I mean, let's think about it. It was just 2 weeks ago that we had the Super Bowl. And hold on here. Got to turn there. Excuse me. What's happening? I think I actually screwed up here. I think I've actually got it set so some of the people are waiting actually on the other part. I'm still figuring everything out, but I've actually got the mic mixer and everything hooked up, I think, properly now. So hopefully we've got a good picture. Hopefully we've got a good sound, and needs to be louder. Okay, we'll turn it up just a little bit more. Turn it up a little bit more. Just want to make sure that we don't blow everything out here. Okay, hopefully. Is that better, guys? Okay. Okay, there we go. I think that should take care of it sound wise. I just don't want to make it too loud and bust anybody's eardrums. I've been accused of hurting too many people out there on keeping my stuff too loud. But guys, like I said, we're in the off season, but we're really not in the off season because tomorrow teams can already start franchise tagging people. And we've already heard that the Dallas Cowboys will be probably, with all likelihood, tagging DeMarcas Lawrence, basically our best pass rusher, um, because they want to work out a long-term deal. So basically, this is just buying some time and giving them until the 15th of June to make a contract deal with them. And I think they're going to do that because it's in everybody's interest. I mean, you don't want to be the Washington Redskins where they paid $25 million last year to Kirk Cousins and $20 million the year before, and then basically you have to let him go. And it'll be interesting. We'll talk about him later. Too loud when it's in the truck. Okay, well, can't have too much control over that truck. The truck makes a whole lot of noise and stuff, so I have to speak loud on it. Well, hello, Jackie. How are you doing tonight? Sir Wallace, Michael Lucas, Jason, my first name, last name. Welcome, everybody, to the show. I'm Mark Holmes. Of course, this is Cowboy Joe Boo, and no picture. Connecticut Cowboys. I'm not sure why you have no picture unless you just joined in and started the original feed. I'm seeing a picture online right now with it. I'm seeing it on my OBS software, and I'm seeing it on my laptop, here. So what we're going to be doing tonight, we're going to start doing something because it is the off season. We're actually going to, Mark, no visual man. Connecticut Cowboys, it must be something with your end because you're the only one who's saying they're not getting a picture. And I'm looking at the stream, and I'm looking at myself, which is kind of strange. Michael? Are you actually watching the stream? Okay. Of course. Yeah, of course Michael's not watching me. He's like, I see you every day. Why I have to watch you on YouTube?
I'm trying to do my videos.
He's the best YouTube show ever. Thank you, Zeke. I appreciate that. I don't know if it's the best YouTube show ever, but I'm striving to get there. I'm sorry, Michael?
Zeke Elliott's name is the same as mine.
Zeke Elliott's name is the same
No,
as...
I'm talking about the dude that Zeke Elliott.
Okay. I'm not sure what Michael's talking about.
No, it's Michael. It's his first name.
But he goes by Zeke Elliott. Okay. Because when you say Zeke Elliott's got the same name as mine, it's like, I didn't name you Zeke.
I'm talking about the person behind
Okay. All right. Be that as it may, Michael, we're here trying to do our live stream, so let me get back to it. The picture is good. It's not him. It's me, Mark. Okay. I appreciate that. But anyway, let's get back to what we're doing. Yesterday I did 2 videos, and I did a live stream here at the Man Cave, and I got to tell you, I love having the Man Cave set up the way it is right now. Actually having somebody sitting next to me is so much more fun than actually having them Skyped in, but, can't get everybody to come in on a regular basis. But we had John, and we also had Irvin that were over here yesterday, and we were talking about the Cowboys' needs. Oh, thank you. Jobu needs a refill. And what we're going to be doing is they're going to be every show breaking down one player that would be a dream player or a player that we should be looking at and things on there. So we're going to have Irvin on at 9:15, and then we're going to have John G on at 9:40. So we'll be talking about that. So we're trying to step this up a little bit, trying to give you a little variety, and try to bring you the best news out there. You, Shango, Law Nation, every day, all day, amazing. Like the new look. I'm glad, Rob, that you like the new look. And before we get to Irvin getting on, Irvin getting on here, I want to talk about what we're going to be doing for the draft. We are a little away from 2 months, just 2 freaking months away from the draft. And last year's draft, I said this before about the Philadelphia Eagles in the city of Philadelphia. They did an incredible job on the draft. I hate to say anything nice about Philadelphia, but I'm telling you, it was great. How you doing tonight, Sarah? Great to see you. Black donut, okay. I do like my chocolate donuts. And Connecticut Cowboy. Okay, hopefully you got a picture now, Connecticut Cowboys. And of course, we have Fly, Eagles Fly. You know, just admit it. You love us. Come on, Philadelphia Fly, Eagles Fly. You are here more than some of the Dallas Cowboy fans. So, Jason, now your fiance Lisa is a watcher of the channel. We'll tell her I appreciate it. Oh, she's an Eagle fan. Oh, damn. Yeah, we've got a lot of them. But, you know, hey, it used to be you'd have to worry about a ring there, Jason, but I guess now you're going to have to buy one. But anyway, to the draft. It was an incredible event. I met a bunch of you guys, and that really started me on wanting to do more meet and greets. That kind of led to us doing the Redskin tailgate and the tailgate against the Eagles in Dallas, and realizing that that's more fun than anything else to go out, meet you guys, you know, have some chicken wings, some shots of rum, or some Jobu punch and things. So we are going to go ahead and do that on steroids. We're actually going to get an RV. We're going to be driving from Northern Virginia all the way to the draft. We're going to have Law Nation supposed to join us there. We're going to end up having Foots, Cowboy Nation. We're going to have my buddy John and Irvin. They're going to be there with us as well. We may even have the moron Tom Donnelly joining us. So when you start looking at this, we're going to get there. We're going to be cooking our ass off. We're going to be broadcasting and talking about not only the draft while it's going on, what's happened, transpired, what we hope to happen, and where these guys will fit in with the Cowboys. So it's going to be epic. It's going to be a game changer for YouTube and this channel. So I'm looking for you guys to be able to be there and hopefully have a great time together. And we're going to probably do some fundraising as well to try and help raise some funds, because I really want this to be great. Now, we've been to Tailgate Tavern. We did actually a live stream from there. The only problem with that is around AT&T, you can't get a signal unless you have an AT&T service. So we're going to probably end up having the RV set up where we have actually big screen TVs, chairs, tables. We'll have the tarp that's over it, and we'll be barbecuing and doing all kinds of stuff. So it'll be a great kind of meetup. I'm working on getting a place that's going to be actually parked at the stadium, and if we can do that, we will be in there. It'll be incredible. Clorox bleach. You know, after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, it might be more than he could take, and he may have, offed himself. You never know. It was probably bad enough that his Giants went down the toilet, and basically have to start all over. But then to see the Eagles win the Super Bowl, it just may be more than Clorox bleach could take. So, put an APB out, and maybe we can find him. Laughing at Cowboy fans is the best. Well, you guys got the right to laugh at us. But, buddy, I hate to tell you, next year's going to be a lot harder. Being back-to-back repeat Super Bowl champions is not an easy thing to do. Very rarely does it happen. And in most cases, teams don't even make it back to the playoffs the year after. Take a look at the Giants after their last 2 wins. Didn't make it back to the playoffs, much less the Super Bowl. In fact, after the Giants' last Super Bowl win, they haven't won a playoff game and only went to 1. So as your team has now looking for an offensive coordinator, as you start getting players that are talking about wanting to get paid and you're $9 million over the cap, understand that you can't keep everybody. Jason Peters is coming back and, they're saying, hey, I want some more money too. Your left tackle. Where's Cowboy Legend? Usually he's trolling right about now. Good question. Vach Lombardi. Did I see? Wait, sorry, I'm missing some of the comments here. This is kind of crazy. As I've grown on the channel here, I actually have two monitors. I've got a 32-inch TV here so I can see the comments because they need to be big because, I'm old and I don't have my glasses. The glasses have too much glare. Then I have another one that actually is the streaming and stuff. So now I've got the mouse that has to go from screen to screen, and I'm not used to all this technology. The draft tailgate menu, listen, pulled pork, we're going to have the smoker set up out there, and we're going to be barbecuing pork shoulders like crazy. We'll definitely have Jobu's wings because that's always happening. Mojo Punch, can't have a party without some Mojo Punch. We'll probably have some black and blue sliders, probably some Bang Bang shrimp sliders, and maybe some tacos. So we'll definitely have all that and a little bit more for our tailgate. Been laughing at y'all for decades. Wow, yeah. Let the Eagles have their time. It's been 51 years until they finally won one, okay? Just let them have fun. Hey, Sarah, how are you doing tonight? A lot of Eagles are going to fly away because of the cap. Yeah, they don't have any cap space. They're $9 million over the cap right now. Dad, can I go in your RV if I bring ladies? Ooh, this is going to be a guy's only trip, unfortunately, because I don't think my wife would want me to be RVing with some ladies.
Most of the people that are coming will have wives.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that, Jack Walker. What do I think about? Wait a minute. If we got a guard early and then also safety and linebacker, well, what I kind of hope that we do, and this is going to be a change in philosophies for the team. I feel like this year is basically Custer's last stand, or should I say Jason Garrett's last stand. Going into this season with 2 years left on his contract, the Cowboys either going to have to extend his contract or they're going to have to end up killing him at the end of the contract that year. You never have a coach go in with, in the last year of a contract. He's a lame duck, and you don't want to have a lame duck for a coach. So that means they have to decide at the end of next year if he's going to be here or not. So this is a contract year for Jason Garrett. So, with that being said, I think Jerry Jones truly wants him to succeed because he was the guy he picked. He handpicked and said that this is the guy. And Jerry Jones does not like to be proven wrong. So, with that being said, you may look at him try and go all out. Of course, the Cowboys' philosophy over the last few years since Greg Hardy and Brandon Carr is bargain basement shop and free agency. Get some role players, and hopefully you'll pick up a George Selvey, and they'll be able to turn him into an 8-sack guy. That was the hope with DeMontre Moore. That was the hope with Nolan Carroll. But those guys didn't work out at all. Didn't even make it through the whole season, and now you've got $4 million of dead money on the cap this year. So I think they're going to need to change what they're doing a little bit, and I think what they need to do is they need to say, we're going to get one really good quality free agent, be it a linebacker, be it a swing tackle or a guard or a safety. If they do that, then that opens up the door at the draft to really go ahead and say, we can take the best player available. So if you see a great offensive lineman, okay, you take him. If you see a great linebacker, depending on where you go with free agency, if it ends up being that you make a move and, let's say hypothetically we get crazy and Mario Davis doesn't get re-signed by the Jets, and you decide that's the guy we're going to get to go at linebacker. You get him, you're set at linebacking core. Come the draft, you can take the best player that's out there. If it's a Vita Vea, hey, okay, you go ahead and put him out there. If it ends up being a safety, you go for a safety. And it opens up the doors to improve your team all the way around. but I'm afraid that we're not going to be able to take all of those guys through and get them all through the draft. We have 10 picks, but those 10 picks, some of them are going to be busts, some of them are going to be role players, some of them aren't going to really be there. All right. Where are you at, my man?
Can you see me?
I can't see you. I can hear you. There we go. All right, everybody. Welcome to the house, my man Irvin. Irvin, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm all right, man.
You're all right? You're just all right? Man, tomorrow starts franchise tagging. The Cowboys are already making a move. In a way, to me, the offseason is already done with, man. We've got franchise tags, so we're going to be talking about all that. Everybody's thinking about, are the Redskins going to go ahead and try and screw up some more and tag, Kirk Cousins? We got that to talk about. We got DeMarcas Lawrence to talk about. And in only 2.5 more weeks or 3 weeks, we've got basically free agency, man. We got 2 weeks from now, we've got, the combine. Man, I'm excited.
I am excited about us tagging Lawrence.
You say you are or aren't excited about it?
I am.
Well, I'm hoping they get a long-term deal worked out because I don't really want to see him dropping, $15 million on him next season. And if they keep Dez, $16 million for him, and then $17.5 for Tyrone Smith, all of a sudden $45 million is tied up with 3 guys, and that doesn't leave a lot left for the other 50 guys on the team.
Well, that'll be off-season talk.
Yeah, definitely. But anyway, we need to start getting knee-deep into the draft. And what we're going to be doing, like I was telling you guys, is we're going to start focusing in on a couple of players through the draft on each of the shows. And my man has done his homework. And tell me what you have for me tonight.
Will Hernandez, left guard out of UTEP.
That would be nice.
Now, first of all, I'm going to say that UTEP didn't win a game that season.
Bad
kind of diminishes it kind of diminishes what Will Hernandez did. But if you watch the tape, especially that Texas game when they played against Texas, they lost terribly. But if you're watching Will Hernandez the whole time, he is literally stopping the defender at the point of attack, knocking him on the ground. They're tussling.
Right.
That defender is not even getting close to the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you're looking at. And you can't always go by what a team does, record-wise, because back at JMU was actually club football until 1979, and Charles Haley got there in 81. And every year that he was there, we never won more than 4 games. And, he's only one of 2 players that have 5 rings. So, you have good players that are on teams that are just bad teams. It happens.
Yeah.
So, what is it that you like about him? Size-wise, speed-wise?
He's a mauler.
I like that.
I'm thinking of him on this team being drafted either in the first or second round. That's where he's projected. We can potentially get him in the second round if nobody gets him. Because we picked, 50th in the second round?
Right, somewhere around there, yeah. I think it's 51.
Yeah.
51, I believe.
51, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is if we don't make any moves or anything.
I'm just looking at him next to Tyron Smith, him in between him and Travis Frederick. That's beautiful. Just thinking about that. Zeke Elliott is going to get record-breaking runs.
That would be nice. And if we got him in the second round, that leaves, okay, then that means an impact player there in the first round, which would be real good. Jackie had said that basically it's going to be like a lottery system for tickets at the draft, which, there's only going to be so many seats inside, although they're doing it in AT&T. And what they're going to be doing is they're already talking about having both of the sets of windows open and basically making it a giant stage. Now,
that's the good thing about Dallas that's unique that other places don't have.
Right.
They have that outside area with those screens where you can see.
And that's where basically, if you in Philadelphia, inside where they basically built a giant tent on the steps of the Arts Center, there was only about 2,500 seats inside of it, but the outside was open. So even though you weren't inside, you were looking inside from the outside. And they're going to be doing that same kind of effect. So they had jumbotrons all over the place. So even though you don't necessarily have a ticket to be inside of the stadium, and they're doing it in AT&T, which holds over 100,000 if they do the seating right. There'll be a lot more tickets there than there were in Philadelphia. And when we show up, we're actually going to be in the parking lot. We're going to have our RV set up there. We're going to have television screens, and we're going to be barbecuing and having a good time and getting a little tipsy, so to speak. And then Dennis was also saying, and I'm going to ask you, I'm going to get your response on this. I know my response on it. Do you think Chris Richard will make a difference for our defense this year?
Oh, without a doubt. He's already putting his mark on the team. Look what he's doing with Byron Jones. That's him.
Yeah, I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see a lot less 8-yard cushions, and I think we're going
to play more press man defense.
EDP 455. Oh, is this the real EDP in here now? Damn, we got all the Eagles up in here now. Okay. Oh Lord, the shit's gonna be flying now. Welcome to Jobu's Sports Report, EDP. Congratulations to your Eagles. I was looking for you at the draft, but I was just a little bit busy running around. But yeah, Chris Richard, I think, is going to be fantastic for our team, and I think he is the de facto defensive coordinator. And I'm going to dare say, I'm going to actually go out on a limb here and say this. When I look at what Seattle did with their defense, and I look at, he was very aggressive type of a defense, and I love an aggressive defense. Yes. I dare say that, hypothetically, let's say the defense takes a step forward and gets to be, say, a top 5 defense, and we somehow get into the playoffs and we have another brain fart and the offense just isn't quite there, that if Jason Garrett goes, that I dare say I think he could be actually a head coach candidate.
Yeah, I agree. I'm loving what he's bringing to the table right now. That's when I saw the report that they were bringing him in, I was like, man, I hope this is solid.
I couldn't believe that Seattle let him go because, I guess they made him the scapegoat and things, but I still believe that's still the riff from the Super Bowl hangover from that basically boneheaded call where the defense kept blaming the offense and Russell Wilson. So I figured that
they got a lot of internal issues.
Yeah,
like you said, ever since that Super Bowl loss, it's been animosity between players, coaches, throughout that organization since that point. So.
Right, yeah. Okay, so EDP is on that ass. Oh, yeah. I know after all those years of EDP, of cussing out your Eagles and everything else, dude, you got to feel good right now.
He's still cussing them out.
Are you still cussing them out, EDP? Oh, man, come on, man. Give you guys a break, man. They finally won it. Oh, man, Fly Eagles. This channel is built on Eagle fans. Yeah, well, see, it's funny because we couldn't find you guys last year.
Sure good.
Seriously, we had tons of Giant ones, but, it'll be okay. After, I believe we have the season opening game, I really feel that it's going to be Dallas versus the Eagles in Philadelphia. The NFL will be there for the great big party and stuff. It'll be just like the Giants after their last Super Bowl win where we came in there and kicked their ass. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But, like I said, hats off to you Eagles fans and all that stuff. I'm not salty and things. I'm proud of you guys. I'm just mad at my own team. But back to our own team. The next question is, okay, we're going to tag DeMarcas Lawrence.
Yes.
Are we going to tender David Irving will be the next question.
Yeah, but they can do that on the low.
Well, it'll be about $3.5, maybe $4 million, which is still relatively inexpensive. But now, all of a sudden, that $19 million that we had in cap space, it's gone.
It drops.
So then when we're looking at free agency starting on the 14th, we don't have any money to do anything in free agency unless we happen to get a deal done with DeMarcas Lawrence before then.
We already know what they're going to do. And we had this conversation. They're going to do what you dread and what you hate. Pushing money back.
Yeah, man.
They're going to keep taxing people's contracts. They're going to take Dez. They're going to lower that cap hit. They're going to give him a signing bonus and extend his contract. That's what they're going to do. Yeah. And I know you don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it either. But that's what they're going to do.
Well, we know they're going to be doing something because they already started looking at Travis Frederick. Travis Frederick, they can easily get, I think, $7.5 million just basically by writing him a check and changing the paperwork. There's a couple of guys they can do, but also too, we have to look at some of the other guys that may not be here, like Orlando Scandrick. That's like $3.5 million right there. And
Yeah, I was going to mention him.
I still think that there's a chance that Cole Beasley is cut or let go. Because, I always say that you have to look at it and you got to stop playing with your head, with your heart and start playing with your head. The question you have to have is the young guy capable of taking the space? And so you start looking at Cole Beasley, who's getting a little older. His contract is still really big. You draft the young guys to take the old guys' places. That's something that New England, and I hate to always use New England, but New England's got the formula right. They let those guys go, or they use them as trade bait to bring in more draft picks so that way they can keep reloading.
But question, do you think that Ryan Switzer is ready for that role?
Is anybody ever ready for it? I mean, I can't answer that one just yet. I'm not there at practice every day to tell you if he is. But it's one of those judgment calls because I look at the same thing with Tyrone Crawford because that's another one where we can get a big chunk of change too. Tyrone Crawford 4 sacks versus Taco getting 3 with half of the time. Do you go ahead and say, Tyrone Crawford, you're expendable because you've always had those shoulder injury things and all that, and you've never been more than a 3-4 sack a season guy?
He's one guy I'm actually okay with letting go.
Yeah.
Honestly.
How about Scandrick?
Scandrick too.
Okay. Anybody else?
I mean, the only reason why I wanted Scandrick to be here was for his veteran leadership, but I mean, he's Oscar the Grouch anyway. But
yeah, well, Jason is worried about Dan Bailey and whether he's lost his confidence. I don't think Dan Bailey's lost his confidence. I think that groin.
he was hurt.
I don't think that groin ever healed, and that's the thing that people don't understand is, they say, oh, well, he's back, but you're not ever 100%.
No, you're not.
When you start talking to football players, you understand that, you're going to have guys that are playing at 60, 70% of their bodies and things. I remember in college for me a couple times, I had this shoulder injury that my arm was literally just numb and just stayed limp. But you were so worried about keeping your job and playing on the field that you play through these things and you don't let people know that you're hurt. David Irving is a great case of that because he got the concussion. He knew he had the concussion, but he continued to play and made it worse because you want to play. When you're a football player, you're a warrior. You don't want to ever come off the field unless you basically carried off in a body bag. And I'm sure
because you're going to lose your spot.
You're going to lose your spot. That's one business that, as my man put it, you are a contractor, you get a 1099, and they're looking always to replace you. You get to be too expensive, we'll find somebody cheaper. If you screw up and get injured, we'll bring somebody else to take your place. So you are always trying to stay on the field and do as much as you can. Put me in, coach, I'm fine, exactly. We got some lively chats going on here tonight. So how you doing tonight? Emery, Rasputin, Boomer, Mafia Cowboys, My Cowboy Family. Gregory would be a great deal if he's reinstated. Low risk, low reward. But the question is, My Cowboys Family, is if Randy Gregory, what kind of shape is he in after being off all this time, and is he truly clean?
I'm not gunning for that. This is the thing. I'm pretty sure that what's going to happen when he gets reinstated is going to be a private conversation between him, Jerry, and Steve.
Yeah.
They may give him a chance because they still own his rights. They may give him a chance in the offseason and see what he can do. They're going to monitor him, and if he doesn't shape up, he's gone. That's it. But I definitely wouldn't gun for him being here.
Yeah. EDP, I hope you're having a good time on here tonight, man. Like I said, thank you for gracing us with your presence. What's up? Joe Boo over here has something for you, EDP, right there, buddy. He's still on okay. The rookies will be elite with. Well, you know what? That's produced by Jim. That's the thing that I'm actually excited about. of all the things that have happened this offseason, there's a lot of things that I'm not happy about. But I'm telling you, I think Chris Richard will be a difference maker for that defense. We've had some pieces. I still believe we need the leader, the vocal general on the field.
Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas, yeah, and a lot of
Bring
people
him
will
up.
say he's old and all that. But see, here's the thing: sometimes you need a veteran. That's something that I think we were missing as a backup quarterback for our Cowboys. Somebody who's been there can be a extra set of eyes, that can teach. I think Tony Romo did a great job with Dak the rookie year, but then this year he had nobody. And I don't think Jason Garrett is that guy. And the same thing on the defense, I believe that we ended up needing somebody who's there that is that vocal guy to keep a foot in your own guy's ass, to motivate
Yes.
people. Richard Sherman was great, in your face type of a guy. Earl Thomas is another type of guy that's like that. DeMario is like that too with the Jets. And I know I'm talking a lot about DeMario, but DeMario is this year's Calais Campbell. The guy that I say, if there's any way you can get him, he's a difference maker on the team.
But like with Earl Thomas being here, definitely like what you said with the veteran leadership. I mean, like I said, he'll be here with his old coordinator. They can be able to relay these plays and stuff to the young guys, and they're going to look up to him because they see that he's been to multiple Pro Bowls, and they're like, hey, maybe we can get to that point if we follow suit to what he's doing, and then maybe we can finally get a secondary guy to go to the Pro Bowl.
Right.
When was the last time that happened?
Oh, man, like I said, man, how old is my son? Because basically it's been a long time since we've had a cornerback go to the Pro Bowl from the Cowboys. Let me give a shout-out to Steeman Willie Beeman, of course, who's always in here talking trash. I see Alex. I see Jeremy. I see David Smith. I see Jay Badass. I see The Foundation. I see, produced by Jim, Chris L., Connecticut Cowboys. Wow. We got all kinds of love in here tonight. Virginia Finest, how are you doing tonight?
What's up,
Watch
Virginia
us
Finest?
trade up and grab Jeff Jefferson. Personally, I don't know your philosophy, but I hate trading up. If anything, I would rather trade back and try and create more picks. When you
See,
look,
this is the thing about that trade and stuff. The position that we're in right now, this is not a top-heavy draft like it was last year
no,
or years before. We have a good range of players throughout the draft. One of my subscribers, I think his name was Brian Smith. Shout out to Brian Smith. He was bringing to my attention Mekhi Kaiser. I was looking at some tape on him. That boy's a tackler. Out of UVA.
yeah,
They call him Virginia's tackler, and we get him in the 4th round. He'd be a good compliment too, as well. But like I said, I think we need to stay pat, especially in the 1st round, because we can either get Vita Vea or Will Hernandez.
one or the other, definitely.
That is if the Redskins don't scoop Vita, because he's projected to go to the Redskins, unfortunately.
Well, here's what's interesting. Somebody just said, "What do you think the slogan will be from Jason Garrett next year?"
I'm so tired of these damn slogans.
I'm sick of. I am too. There. Well, yeah. Will McClay definitely needs to keep doing this thing on draft day. I agree with you, Connecticut Cowboys, definitely. And shout out to Alex out there, who I forgot what she had said. Aaron, how are you doing tonight? Mafia Cowboys, Joe Boo. Boy, we got all kinds of new people here tonight.
But the thing about that moving up in the draft thing, like I was saying, if you're going to move up, the reward has to be more than the risk. If you're going to take that risk, the reward has to at least match it or be better than it.
Amen on that one. And to me, it's not so much that you're risking that pick. You are now giving up that that other pick. When we moved up
First round for the next year
for Morris Claiborne, the glass man, it wasn't just that we had that 1st round pick. That 2nd round pick should have been a starter on our team that we also gave up to go with them. When the Redskins went for RG3, you look at how much they gave up for him. I'm talking about 3 number 1s. That's 3 years in a row and a second. That changes your whole complexion of your team. If you miss, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I want to thank you, my man, for calling in, and I look for you. You gonna be on Friday night with another player for me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, all right, and hopefully we get you back in the studio because it's so much nicer having you guys sitting in here, taking a shot of rum or two with us. All right, my man, I
Just
will
let me
see
know.
you.
I'll be
Oh,
there.
let everybody know where they can get in touch with you and tell them about your channel.
All right. Those of you that don't know who I am, again,
Coming
my
out from
name
under
is
a
Sliven.
rock.
The channel is E2 Blue Entertainment. That's E number two, capital BLU, no E,
Hmm.
Entertainment.
All right, we will see you on Friday night. Thank you, my man, and have a
All
good one.
righty.
All right, man. So Will Hernandez, that would be a great pick. We definitely could use a guard in there because as much as I thought Doug Free was time to go and didn't think that Ron Leary was that great, boy, were we all wrong because they really were a difference maker. It took quite a while for our team to really get its foot underneath them on it, and I still think we're going to need definitely a guard and definitely a swing tackle because you have to worry about Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith, when he's healthy, is one of the best players out there. But, we lost him for a few games this season. He only could practice very limited, and you have to worry about the future on, can he get some work done in that back? And can he go ahead and be the player that we need him to be for the next couple of years? I can't answer that one just yet, but we can, all put our prayers and stuff on that. We're actually not going to take any calls tonight. We're going to do a call-in show coming up soon in the next couple of weeks or so. Tony Romo and Roy Williams ruined the Cowboys in early years. Okay. How you doing tonight, Joseph? Rob, nice to see you. Shallow Hal. It's always a pleasure to have Shallow Hal in here. My Cowboys family, Doomsday Defense. Yeah, you know what? I would love if our Doomsday Defense were resurrected. It's been it's hard to believe it, but our defense played better this year than we have, in quite a while. Since 2013, the defense has gone from being 32nd, historically bad, to 19th to 17th to actually 8th, which is hard to believe because of some of those games we had. But, hey, if we can keep on that course, if we can get that defense to the top 5, it's going to make all the difference in the world for us on next year because, for the most part, our defense has been relying on our offense to kind of slow down the clock, keep them off the field. If we can get a defense that starts to get some turnovers, all of a sudden that changes the whole complexion. You get a turnover or two a game and your offense can grind out the clock. Basically, you're playing keep away from the other team, and that's where we need to go. And I think with Chris Richard as our coach, he's going to be more aggressive than what we've been, where basically the bend don't break, where we're basically sitting back, giving up the short stuff, keeping everything in front of us, and hoping that the other team will make a mistake. Well, Chris Richard is going to get aggressive to the point where he's going to force the other teams to make mistakes. And I'll be honest, I can't wait till the season gets here to do that. I agree with you, Jackie. I love our Cowboys, and I missed the rest of that. Well, Jason, I'm hoping that you're right on Dak. Dak has a lot to work on. I know everybody says that I think that Dak Prescott can do no wrong, and I believe me, Dak went backwards along with the rest of the team. And I think from the coaching to Dak to the receivers to the offensive line, everybody needs to improve for that offense. But saying that right there, even as bad as our team played without Tyron Smith, without Sean Lee, with the offensive line being in flux, with Zeke Elliott being suspended, with our coaching being questionable, we still ended up 9-7. Think about that. It wasn't 4-12. We were still 9-7. It was still a winning season. If we can just get a couple of things to go right, just a couple, maybe we're 11-5, 12-4, back in the playoffs. Thank you, Jay Hart. I appreciate the super chat there. What do I think of Kevon Frazier? Yeah, a lot of people, he's getting a whole lot of love right now, and I appreciate the super chat. He's definitely getting a lot of love right now as far as safety. He has been mostly a special teams player on the team, and they started playing more and more at safety. He's a big hitter. He's still young and things. I still think he has a lot to learn, and that's where I would really love to see an Earl Thomas to be in there to mentor that guy, to get him to take down that next level. Because what you have to look at as far as free agents go is basically you're renting them for 2 years. More times than not, most free agents don't last more than 2 years on a team, so you have to get them as much as you can from them. And so you bring in Earl Thomas, and you play him in spots along with Kevin Frazier to mentor him, and I think it would be fantastic. But I'm not sure that he's ready to step in to be the full-time starter just yet. Who would I rather have, DeMario Davis or Earl Thomas? I would rather have DeMario Davis, to be quite honest with you. Davis, I think, is going to have a longer shelf life than Earl Thomas, and a linebacker, to me, is key. If you get DeMario Davis and you are able to get, say, a Vita Vea to go in the middle, to plug up the middle, and that's where we didn't really have that guy on the team. We played David Irving in the one technique a lot last year, but the problem with David Irving is he's tall, he's lanky, and he's fast. But you need a guy who occupies space, like my man says, a fire hydrant with legs. You want a guy who can put down the anchor, take on those double teams to keep the linebackers clean. And if we do that and you get a guy like a DeMario Davis in there who can really clean up. Now, I know a lot of people talk about, Jalen Smith, and Jalen Smith has all the instincts in the world, and I love the story. But the problem with Jalen Smith is the question will that foot heal completely where he's 100%? Because clearly he made a lot of tackles, but how many times did you see him get hit and then carried 3 or 4 yards downfield? When you get somebody like a DeMario Davis, when you get hit by him, you get stuck. You are stopped like you hit a brick wall. Antoine, appreciate the super chat there. Can't wait to see my boys, my boy Des shine again, and Lewis, and enjoy my content. I appreciate that. Now, that'll be a big question, because that's one of the big things that the Cowboys have to look at is that contract. Are they going to go ahead and restructure it and basically kick the can down the road and just kind of roll the dice and say Des Bryant will be good and we'll take that hit later on? Although, with this being the end of the Tony Romo $9 million deal, and also getting rid of the $4 million between Demontre Moore and Nolan Carroll, it's $13 million on the cap that we don't have next year. So maybe you do restructure Des Bryant and say, okay, we'll kick some of that money for next year when we can better absorb it and keep him on the field. Because the question you have to ask right now is, okay, if you do let Des Bryant go, and then if you do let Bryce Butler go, now all of a sudden you've got everybody pretty much gone. I mean, are you ready to have Terrence Williams to be your main guy? Terrence Williams and sorry about that. Get John G over here on here. So you can't let everybody go. We tried that last year. Turn that down a little bit. We tried that last year with all of our defensive backfield. John, how are you doing?
How you doing?
Hey, welcome to the show, my man. All right, everybody. John G. You saw him here with us yesterday and all that. And John G is here to talk about another player. And who are we talking about tonight?
Vita Vea.
You don't have it quite Vita down Vea. Like my man Herman has it down. But yeah, Vita Vea. Yeah. That's exactly what I was just talking about, because we need a big guy in the middle. We can't have a David Irving there, I'm afraid, who's not really built to be a one technique. He's going to take too much abuse, and he doesn't have the size for it, in my mind at least.
Agreed. And ultimately, we talked about it yesterday. I know that Irving was talking about him, even though it was my turn to talk about him today. but yeah, Vita Vea, he's definitely a guy who takes up two guys at a time. He's a two-gap type player. He's really a force when he's moving upfield, and that's ultimately what Rod likes to teach his defensive linemen, as to make plays moving up the field. And
yes,
that's where he's most effective.
Amen to that. Somebody had actually just said, what about trading back? I am a huge fan of trading back because to me, every draft pick is a 50-50 crapshoot, and you want to have as many opportunities as possible because sometimes you find a Charles Haley in the fourth round that gets 5 Super Bowl rings. It's not always that first round pick that ends up being the guy that saves a franchise. Your thoughts?
I agree with that, and I guess it depends on how many quarterbacks move in front of us. Because ultimately, we talked about this yesterday. If a lot of quarterbacks move in front of us, that gives us a lot of guys that are going to get pushed to us that we want.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can move back, then we can gain more picks, and we can still get the guy that we want.
Right.
I think that Jacksonville might be one of those guys where if they move up, we get a second round pick. It's like a point system to it, but yeah, I mean, if it makes sense to get another second round pick,
definitely be a run on quarterbacks as always, definitely. So yeah, that's going to be a couple of those picks right there out of the way, and then of course, edge rushers are always going to be another run in there too. So you might be able to have a chance. I mean, that'd be getting Vita Vea. That would be an incredible pick to put in that middle. That would make all the difference in the world because to me, I've always said you get the biggest bang for the buck on a pass rush because you can have a great cornerback. You can have Deion Sanders in his prime, but if you got 3 other guys that aren't that good, it doesn't matter because he can't hold up for 7-8 seconds or they'll go the other way. But if you get a great pass rush and you get a guy like Vita Vea to plug up the middle, so that way DeMarcas Lawrence and David Irving or Taco can get on the outside edge where the quarterback can't step up, then you're going to go ahead and start getting a lot more turnovers, and it makes everybody else better. Him in the middle, plugging it up, keeps the linebackers clean to go ahead and scrape and make their moves. It gives the cornerbacks less time that they have to hold up. So to me, defensive line, you can't go wrong on the defensive line.
Yeah, you can't go wrong defensive line, and I'll even go a little bit further as to why the value of this pick is greater, because when you're looking at skill positions like running backs, receivers, quarterbacks, when you come to the negotiating table of that rookie contract, it's always cheaper and it's always easier to structure linemen and negotiating linemen rather than a skill position, guys that are going to sell jerseys.
Yeah.
So you got to look at that down the line as well, whereas you're going to get somebody that's valuable where they're keeping your linebackers clean and they're making it easier on your D-backs, and you're ultimately going to get them for cheaper.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that one too. All right. So, what do you think about the tag for DeMarcas Lawrence?
I would love to get a deal done personally, but maybe it is. Let's see if you could do it again. I mean, if he does it again, then we're in trouble where we have to negotiate both him and Zach Martin, which is what I don't want. Because if we got to negotiate both of them, how much money are we talking?
Well, but here's the thing: you can kick Zach Martin. You don't have to do right now. Zach Martin, you can do during the season next year.
Yeah, but do we want him to collect another All-Pro and make that a little bit tougher?
But here's the thing, though. When you start looking at our cap situation the following year, $9 million comes off the cap because of Tony Romo. $4 million will come off because of DeMontre Moore and Nolan Carroll. So that's $13 million you're going to have this time next year that you don't have right now. And if you do something with Dez Bryant, if Dez Bryant ends up going,
that's another 12, right?
12 and a half if he's a June 1st cut. So conceivably, you can make Dez Bryant that cut June 1st, use that money to sign your rookies as well as get your Zach Martin deal done. And then you have some money even for that second tier of free agency that'll come as teams start cutting players after the draft.
Yeah. So I'll ask you this question about Lawrence. Do you think Lawrence is a once in a lifetime type rusher for us?
Once in a lifetime?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because see, that's where it gets a little bit crazy as to negotiating the contract.
True. And his second year, he had a great year. I mean, it was 8 sacks that year, and things showed a lot of promise. He was injured a lot. You had the suspension for the first 4 games that following
year.
And the injuries, and of course, because he had the back surgery last offseason. In fact, nobody thought he was going to do anything this past year. So that becomes the question. Was it a contract year and then he goes downhill after that? I don't know. But right now, I think you got to roll the dice on it. I think you have to hold on because if you don't, then you got David Irving who missed the last half of the season because of a concussion. And, you still don't know what you got there. Taco, is still very raw, still has a lot to learn. And I think he's going to be a productive, good player, but he still has a lot left to learn. And after that, you're hoping that Topper comes around. You're hoping that Collins gets back to where he was the year before. So you kind of have to sign that guy.
Yeah, I almost forgot we had Tapper. Yeah, I almost forgot
Tapper
that.
may be the guy who comes around and ends up being gets that next step, comes out the shadows and stuff, somebody that you don't expect. Because there's always going to be a couple of guys, DeMarcas Lawrence was the one last year, that you didn't expect to go ahead and step up and have the season that he had. So maybe Topper will be that guy coming up. Check some of the comments in here. Just got so many other people. Cowboys X Factor, how you doing? Jackie, there you are. Yeah, you might as well, Jackie, not even argue with the Eagles because that's basically like talking to a brick wall. Some of these questions, you guys are having your own conversation in here. Romo's the reason we didn't make the playoffs in 07, 08, 09, 10, 11, and 12. Oh, okay. Are we still talking about Tony Romo? Can we kind of let Tony Romo go? Tony Romo has not played for the Cowboys really the last 2 years. Can we just move on? Tony Romo was a productive, great player who literally left everything on the field. I'm talking about spleens. I'm talking about backbones, collarbones. He did everything he could to win. Let the guy go.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, his service to the team, he kept us afloat when we had probably some 3-win talent type teams.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And his career ended because of it, because he literally carried us on his back a lot of the times. And it wasn't enough.
Really did.
We still fell short a lot of the time. So.
And I'll be honest, I think he ended up making up for a lot of problems on our offense. He made our offense a lot better than it should have been from the coaching.
Defense as well. So.
Yeah.
But, his career's over. It's done. He's in the boot. So we just got to move forward with what we got. And I think we have a good enough team to where or a lot of core pieces where we could maybe get past where he left off.
Lawrence Lawrence is not Lawrence Taylor, so he's not generational. Okay. Yeah, very few people are Lawrence Taylor. Thank you very much. Jeez. The one thing I am glad that I am hearing is that I'm not hearing anything about Zeke Elliott.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
He is definitely incognito. I don't have any idea where he even is right now. But I would love if we could make it through the whole offseason where we don't hear anything about Zeke Elliott.
I think it could even be better if in the later rounds we maybe get a steal at a running back position where it's a guy who can maybe push him to where he comes in shape.
Well, let's hope so. Now, one other thing I want to ask you about, this has nothing to do with our Cowboys or anything. It actually has to do with the dumpster fire that is the Washington Redskins, and with free agency starting up, the tagging ability starting tomorrow. The big question will be, will the Washington Redskins try to tag Kirk Cousins to try and get something for him?
In my opinion, I think it would be a huge mistake if they tag Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I'll come to your house and we can smoke a cigar, and I've never smoked a cigar.
I got some Cubans here. We can definitely say, because they're sitting there thinking now after they screwed the pooch on him, they could have actually signed him a couple years ago, probably for that $45 million they paid him the last 2 years guaranteed. And now they're sitting there thinking, oh, well, let's see if we can get something for him going out the door. He's already ready to get the papers signed for a grievance, and he could really screw them by saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to sign that.
How much is it? Is it like
$37 million? Basically,
I'm about to say it's like 35.
35 or 37, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Woo.
Yeah. So the Redskins always seem to screw the pooch when it comes to quarterbacks.
My question is, what if nobody wants him, or they decide I don't want to spend $37 million on somebody that I don't know if it's going to stay?
There you go. And see, in order for their hope is that somebody will go ahead as a franchise tag that they have to give up 2 number ones for him. Are you going to give up 2 number ones for Kirk Cousins?
It depends on who I am. Because if I've been screwing my number 1 picks anyway, like the Browns have been doing, I might gamble that.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
that's about it though.
You know,
from the Jets have been kind of screwing theirs too. So
I wouldn't wish my worst enemy going to Cleveland.
I wouldn't do it.
I don't know what it is, and it's sad, because seeing Jim Brown at the honors and stuff. What he did for football and society as a whole, for him to be still labeled a Cleveland Browns when they have been the most inept franchise in forever. Seems like every year they got 2 number 1 draft picks, if not 3, and yet still go 0-16. So
losing culture.
Cousins,
losing culture.
They couldn't pay me enough money to go to Cleveland.
I mean, it's just a losing culture, man. Maybe they just need to change the colors from the Dookie Brown that they have.
Good night, Jackie. Thank you for joining in. Wow, somebody's talking about Eagle fans. At least our fans don't eat horse poop. Wow. Man, it's definitely getting lively here in the chat. Dump Tyrone's contract somewhere. Okay. Eagle fans are bandwagon found. Okay, let's get off the Eagles, guys. But what else you got for me tonight?
You know how I told you I'm trying to get through 261 players.
Yeah.
So far I got through about 60 something now.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah. And I found another big ugly for you.
Who you got? Give me a preview.
Okay, his name is he's from Virginia Tech.
Okay,
I ran across him today. His name is Tim Settle. He is 6'3", 328 pounds. The guy can move. He can move.
6'3", 328?
Yeah, he can move. He's very slick. He's got pretty good hands. They said that he lost a lot of weight this year to get down, and he kept a lot of those linebackers clean. He might be why Tremaine Edmonds is where he is.
Could be.
Big guy. Yeah, I will watch him.
Edgar says, does anybody else notice that Tyrone Crawford got more than Tom Brady did last year? Yeah, they structured Tom Brady's contract, so yeah, he had a small cap number. But yeah, Tyrone Crawford definitely is getting a little overpaid, but part of that's not his fault. Part of that is because they've restructured his contract, basically using as a as a piggy bank, and that's why the number jumped up. See you later, Matt. Too many Eagle fans making you sick. Yeah, they're all over us tonight. What about the gangsters in the red helmet from NC State? Okay. Vita, oh man, I agree with you, David Smith. If we had DeMarcas Lawrence, Vita Vea, Malik Collins, and David Irving as a starting line.
Ooh, that's tough.
Man, that would be getting quarterbacks pissing down their leg.
It's not even that. Look at the rotation behind them, too. You got Taco. Hopefully Tapper is back.
Right.
Possibly. I mean, I know that Randy Gregory, we just brought him up, and that's a plus if he can come back, in my opinion. If he can get himself right, he's reinstated. It doesn't hurt us if he doesn't come back, but if he does, it's just a plus in the rotation.
Amen on that one. Yeah, this is true. You got nothing to lose with him. Well, man, it is almost 10 o'clock already. So everybody, go ahead and tell everybody how to find your channel. And make sure you guys give my man some love because, it's not easy. My man is going through 261 different players to find out the best draft picks for us. And I really appreciate you. I actually rather have you sitting right here, actually having a shot of rum and shooting the shit with the Cowboys here in the space. But, we got to do what we got to do because we all got day jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you can find me on YouTube, DMV Dallas Cowboys. I just left a comment in the comments section, so everybody can find me there. And you can find me on Twitter. I am DMV Dallas Cowboy. So
All
you
right,
can,
man. Thank you very much. Well, I'll see you on Friday night.
yeah, you'll see me Friday
All
night.
right, with another one of your 261 players that you're going with. I appreciate
Yeah.
you, man. I will see you soon, my man.
All
And
right.
so, everybody, it's 10 o'clock. It's been another quick hour. I swear the hours just fly by when I'm with you guys. But I appreciate all the support, everybody coming in, all the great conversations. Shout out to every one of you guys. And wow, we are already talking about franchise tagging. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on over the next 2 months because we've got the combine coming up, we got free agency, and then we've got the draft. And I can't wait till the draft gets here. We are going to have a ball. But as always, friends, thank you guys for all the support, and I will see you guys. Of course, with all the videos, I will see you guys soon. That is, if I can get the mouse back over onto the other side. It sucks when you're old and technology challenged because when you have two screens, it's hard to get from one screen to the other with the mouse. But I'll see you guys soon. Good night.